You know, people say that she just vanished. No, people do not just vanish. Everybody sees something. Whether it's stuck in your mind and you forget about it and later on you remember, but somebody must have seen her somewhere. Somebody must have seen who she was with. Somebody must have seen her playing somewhere. It doesn't matter if it's going to make people angry that you saw it or what. It's your obligation and your responsibility as a citizen of this country to take whatever evidence you have or whatever information you have and take it to SAP so that we can find her. Because if we keep things to ourselves, it can be your child tomorrow. It can be the neighbor's child tomorrow. It can be anybody's child. It can even be adults. 2 years ago, we were searching in this same area for a young man, and we never found him. We still haven't found him. The search is still ongoing. But Joshlin can be found if everybody just remembers where they saw her. I saw her playing with A, B, and C's child, that we can ask everybody and that SAPs can do their job so that we can find her. But nobody just vanishes. There's always a trail. There's always someone that has seen something, and sometimes people are scared to bring out what they know because we're terrified of the consequences of when we speak. We don't know how people are going to react. We don't know how the community is going to react, but it's important and it's vital that as community members and parents ourselves and brothers and sisters and uncles to take that responsibility and say, I saw her there, and then we can look there. But now everybody just assumes she vanished. Nobody just vanishes. There's always some way that we can find them. We just need to know where to search. With the families, but the social development is taking care of that, and also they are looking after them. For me, as a mother, it's that tomorrow is International Women's Day, and we're still dealing with these kind of issues. So
So my appeal is about at least if you could be able to identify and get to know the answers or the whereabouts of Joshlin. It doesn't matter whether it comes as a body or what, but that's all what we want to know. But I also want to thank the communities, because if it wasn't for the community of the Vredenberg, we wouldn't have been able to be even getting kind of this mileage, and also in terms of the spotlight on this case.
All right, for more on the story, we're joined this afternoon by Dr. Shahida Omar, who is director of the Teddy Bear Clinic, and A21 country manager Katie Mudrao. A21 manages South Africa's human trafficking hotline. To both of our guests, thanks very much indeed for joining us. And what a story to be talking to Dr. Shahida Omar. You and I only ever talk when cases like this are in the headlines. What do you make of this latest court appearance and these charges that have now been added?
So my response to you, Michelle, and to people out there, my question is, why am I not shocked? Because we know that 80 to 90% of children are victimized, are subjected to violation within the close confines of their home environment. And it is usually somebody that is known or has a relationship with the child, somebody that is closely connected to the child. So that is my immediate response. But it is indeed a very sad day that children who are supposed to be protected by their significant others are the ones that are subjecting them to further trauma, to violation, and of course adding to their wounding. So, you know, this is absolutely a very, very sad day in our country, because it speaks to the fact that a place which, you know, which is supposed to be a place of hope, home is supposed to be the place of hope. Unfortunately, home is the place of hurt, violation, and pain and trauma for children.
Yeah, certainly. We know, Katie, the reality of living in South Africa as women and children. We know of the warnings we give our children about people out there, people who are strangers to you. The very least we ask for is that our children are safe, as Dr. Omar says, within the confines of their home. And it doesn't, not just because of this case, but because of many others, it doesn't seem to be the case.
That's, like Dr. Shahida said, it's a very sad development, but again, we're also not surprised knowing this field of anti-trafficking. On the hotline, we run the National Human Trafficking Hotline, and unfortunately, 16.7% of the cases reported to our hotline last year were trafficked by family members, and 14.3% by friends. So that's 31% of people trafficked that were reported to the hotline last year knew well the person who was exploiting them. And we've got to ask ourselves the question, are we spreading that narrative enough? Are we telling people, you know, it's a sad day that we have to tell children to protect themselves. They should not have to protect themselves. But is that coming from our lips? Are we talking about the fact that it's not stranger danger, that it's tricky and distrustful behavior, you know, that we need to be looking out for, whether it's children or adults? How are we equipping the general community around us that it's not just abduction, it's not just, you know, a job recruitment, but it's people that we know and trust who are in some form of desperate situation that would then embark on treating a person like a commodity and selling them for body parts or for sex or labor.
Dr. Omar, where do we go from here? Because we have these discussions with our children, right? We warn them of the dangers out there in the world. What Katie is saying now, that it's a sad day that we are now telling not the family and friends and close relatives of children to protect the children. The message is now changing to us talking to children directly.
Indeed, and you know, as Katie alluded to the fact that we are now expected to teach children to protect themselves, to actually take responsibility in their own hands, when it should be an implicit expectation that they be protected regardless. So, of course, I think this is such a huge call or an expectation for us to reach out to children. Unfortunately, we have to equip, empower, and enable children to to be aware of safe and unsafe settings, to be aware of resources and platforms where they can reach out to and actually call out for help. So again, it's not the ideal situation, but it is something that we need to put out there, where we need to engage, communicate with children on a daily basis, and starting off with very young children who are already coming into our ECD facilities or centers, your early childhood development centers, where we speak to children on what is acceptable, what is not acceptable, what is safe, what is unsafe, and the recourse to action where they need to actually, tell somebody, shout, run, call for help. I think, again, it's also, I would say, instilling anxiety, fear, and panic in children. So it's got to be done in a way where children are engaged and are also having an opportunity to ask questions, but also finding themselves with people that they can trust. So that they need to reach out to people that they can trust. And of course, vetting, we know that there's no license to become a parent or a caregiver. Anybody can become a caregiver or a parent. But I think it calls for that kind of vetting now, that anybody that's a caretaker of a child would require stringent vetting and monitoring of that environment and family circumstances. So, it's like policing a family, policing parents. We've never heard of that before. Unfortunately, we're going to have to become more stringent in our approaches in order to protect and ensure the safety of children.
Smith's disappearance has been postponed to the 15th of July. This after the accused appeared in the Vredenburg Magistrates Court today. It's been nearly 3 months since Joshlin went missing from her home in Middelpos. Well, Saldana, of course, and she had been left in the care of her mother's boyfriend, Jacquin Apollos. He, the mother, and 2 others face charges of human trafficking and kidnapping. ENC reports Nobesuthu Hejana has been there and she joins us now. Nobesuthu, of course, you've been following the case this morning very shortly. Very intense, proceedings, of course, taking place there. But what can you tell us there from Vredenburg?
Well, Baron, the 4 accused of human trafficking and kidnapping of Joshlin Smith made a brief appearance this morning at the Vredenburg Magistrates Court, where we heard from the state that at the moment they are in possession of cell phone analysis as well as forensic reports that they plan to go through it for the next court appearance. But I also did have a brief conversation with one of the accused lawyer, where I had asked about the confession that was allegedly made by one of the accused, that is Laurentia Lombard. But then the lawyer said at this particular time they don't have that docket. The police are still investigating because the child has not yet been found, and all the 4 accused or suspects in this case, they maintain that they don't know what happened to Joshlin Smith. The state prosecutor, or rather the NPA, also could not share further details as to what are some of the details or the forensic report that they've managed to get, but they just mentioned that the cell phone analysis was just to confirm who the other people that the 4 accused were communicating with, or in case there are other people that are in this case. But they're also not ruling out whether they would at some later stage add a murder charge if the child is not found, or should she be found deceased. But let's take a listen to what Mr. Eric Dabazalila had to say about this morning's court appearance.
The investigation is still ongoing. The police have told us that they are following all the leads that have been brought to their attention. The case has been postponed to the 15th of July for further investigation, but we can confirm that we have received forensic report as well as cell phone data analysis of the accused. The police are busy analyzing those. A report is much likely to be received on those maybe at the next appearance or the one after that. But at the next appearance, we'll be able to inform the court in which court a trial will start in this case.
And of course, what is Kelly's mother saying about her daughter's involvement in Joshlin's disappearance?
Well, we could not get a comment from Kelly's sister, and they definitely don't want the media to speak to Kelly's mother. But we spoke to Joshlin's paternal grandmother, Loretta Yon. She was outside the court, and she also came with the father of Joshlin, Mr. Jose Mge, who told the media that today he doesn't feel like speaking to us because of the emotions that is currently going through. But the family of Kelly did say that they're not happy with the investigations. They're also wanting Kelly to tell the truth, or if she knows whoever took Joshlin, so that she can come forward as to what happened to the child. I'm also going to tell you that, Baron, when we went to Middle Post yesterday, when we spoke to some of the search team members, they were also saying that, if there is a person that Kelly is afraid of, she must talk, because it appears that they don't want to tell the truth, as if there is a person who is masterminding this whole case. And they were also questioning her, how did she spend, something that I also posed to her while she was, before they took her out with other accused, how did she spend her Mother's Day, and also what is it that she would like to tell us about Joshlin. She basically said that she spent her Mother's Day, it was nice, and that she loves her daughter, but hinting that her boyfriend Jacqueline Apollos might know what happened to the child, but also he did not say anything. He just kept quiet and did not respond to my question when I asked him whether he knows what happened to Joshlin or where is the child. But Loretta Yon mentioning to us outside court that she had visited Kelly Smith in prison, and it was not a very comfortable conversation, but Kelly, to her as well, maintains that she doesn't know what happened to Joshlin. But let's take a listen to what Miss Rita had to say.
She says she didn't have part of this.
Did you say who did? Who knows the child? She is.
So here's the point I want to make. I want everyone to listen very carefully. No, I didn't believe her.
Why not?
Huh?
Why don't you believe her? That she doesn't know anything.
Because I'm an elder, and the fact is, you can see through a person, and I know Kelly. She's a drama queen.
I think just, of course, it's a case that will be very closely watched by so many South Africans and even internationally. So it will therefore, we'll be giving you all of those updates regarding this case here on